Well, this is quite a pickle to be in, isn't it? Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what to do here. Welcome back to Calradia Expanded at War, and you can see that the Azurai have decided to attack Charas with 2,563 combat strength in their army. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I guess, you know what? You know what? The only thing I can really do here is literally just go and attack them. That is pretty much all I can do. I did say that I was going to go and attack Varcheg, but I have attempted to speak to the guy, and I actually wanted to try and persuade him to join us, because that would obviously circumvent any military action that needed to be done, but he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that for some reason or another. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and take as many Azurai fiefs as I can. This army that they have right there at Charas is incredibly immobile. They're going to be very slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go on a bit of a spree here. Going to try and take as many castles and towns as I can. And that is just going to have to be how we do things. That is going to have to be how we do things, because... Oh. I got a crash. Okay. Now, I've got this new mod that I haven't used ever before, which is actually really cool, because this is a... basic... It's called Better Exception Window, and it tells you why this was... why this happened. So let me actually just take a quick look here. What actually caused this? System argument out of range exception. Index was out of range, must be non-negative and less than the size of the collection. Okay, I have no idea what that actually means. Alright, so we didn't actually experience a crash this time. However, I am besieging a different place. I actually wanted to take the castle first, because I thought that would probably be a little bit better strategically. Not because it's easier to defend, but because... it is kind of, well, easy to retake, and it's a bit of a distraction, shall we say. Because if I take a town first, then of course people are going to be attempting to target that in an effort to retake it, you know what I mean? Whereas if I were to take a castle and they target that to retake it, then it's not that big a deal. Whereas if they take the town back, then obviously it's a lot more trouble, you know. It's a lot more trouble. So that's the main point there. Anyway, let's see if I can do some damage. Ooh, that was a miss and a half, wasn't it? There we go. That was a nice hit. And can I get another one? Yes, I can. Thank you. Can I get another one? Ooh, very nice. Oh yeah. As long as I keep eliminating the guy that goes on the ballista, I think we'll actually have a pretty decent shot at things, because usually the ballistas are so incredibly powerful that they can eliminate groups of units just so effortlessly that it really makes a huge difference. Anyway, I'm just going to speed things up real quick. Try and get my forces over to the walls a little bit faster. Bear in mind that in real time you'd have to wait at least, what? A minute and a half, 2 minutes to be able to get this guy over here. Yeah, I mean, it's already 3 minutes 20 at the moment, so generally, yeah, you're going to take a very long time without the super fast mode to be able to catch up to this point. Anyway, let's do this. Let's get in there. Let's do some damage. Can I actually do damage? Yes, there we go. Thankfully, we are able to do damage now. And I'm just kind of pleased that I've actually gotten my crossbows finally maxed out, because that means that I don't really have to focus on using them anymore if I don't need to. And it's just going to be more of a case of, well, if it's good to use it here, then I'll definitely do that. But it's not going to be a case of I feel obligated to use it because I need to level it up. But now that I have everything unlocked, it's going to be one of those things where, oh look, those guys are really far away from me. I should probably use my crossbow. You know, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Oh, did you see that? Someone got hit by a ballista over there. That was harsh. That was really harsh. Can I catch up to this guy? That is the question. Highly unlikely. Oh, my athletic skill is actually not as bad as I anticipated. Okay. Amazing. And And it seems like that is all she wrote, pretty much. Any more enemies coming? There's one. Well, he's gone. I was like, any more enemies coming? I'm waiting for you. And then the guy just literally moseys on by, and I'm just thinking to myself, yes, I kind of dropped the ball on that one, didn't I? Oh, well, never mind. Okay, so we did end up losing 32 units, which is to be expected, of course. This is indeed a town. And bear in mind, I think I'm actually going to go into the keep, because as one of you mentioned, there are unique layouts to these castle keeps and everything, and I think it's super fun to actually try them out at least once. And I think look at how cool this is. I gotta say, I actually feel like they should have done this more. I'm not sure if that's just me, but I feel like they should have done this so much more, where the actual siege goes into interiors a bit more, you know? I don't know whether that's just my personal preference or whatever, but generally I find it a lot more fun to fight in these sort of close quarter situations where there's a lot of indoor decoration. There's a you know, chest of drawers, there's tapestries, there's carpets, there's all kinds of things all over the place, and it kind of adds to the overall atmosphere of the map. And that's not to say, obviously, that the outdoors is not extremely cool looking or whatever, but generally, I feel like more interior siege fighting could be really enjoyable. Really, really enjoyable. Anyway, there you go. Let's just take all the prisoners that we can get our hands on. 25,000 experience. Thank you very much. I'll take that. And let's just claim the fief. Now, I'm actually going to do a little bit of something here. I'm not sure whether I'm going to trade this just yet. So, I'm going to do a little management of the town. I'm not really going to focus on it too much, but I'm going to go as far as to do the improved garrison for it. And this is something that I don't usually do, but I'm going to do it this time because it might be something that I end up keeping for a little bit longer than I anticipate, you know what I mean? But if I don't, then so be it, you know. I'm just going to wait here for some time, just try to restore myself a little bit before we move on. We're going to have to move on relatively soon. Do they have a lot of food here? They actually don't have a huge amount, but I'm just going to take a little bit just to sort of restock our supplies, and then we're going to head on to the nearby castle. I should actually go over to that castle first, but I'm going to go over to this one. Oh. Should I? Yeah, never mind. Okay, my choice was made for me. Yes. Okay, hello there. Well, this is obviously not very good. 808 units against 320 of ours. Well, that's going to be somewhat painful, isn't it? Okay. Ooh, however, this is one of my favorite maps. I love fighting in the sand dunes. Sand dunes, number one, especially in deserts. I'm talking about desert maps here. So sand dunes, number one, because obviously it gives you wide, overarching height advantages, which is just so cool to see, you know, with massive amounts of archers or crossbowmen or something. And then number two, this map. Really, really fun to fight on. I don't know why, but it's probably because of the extremely flat battlefield. I know I like, you know, I've said before that I very much like, you know, hilltops, mountains, all kinds of things like that. I like a lot of variation in that regard, but I think it's just kind of beautiful to see such a flat landscape and just a handful of trees every now and again, and I think that's actually kind of picturesque. It kind of makes you feel a little bit calm, you know, a little bit calm. But obviously, if I have to go for the overall number one map, you know which one I'm talking about. The only one that we have seen in this series so far, and the only one that I've seen actually in any series. It must have been one of the new maps that they added somewhat recently. Potentially. I mean, I have no idea whether they still add maps or whatever, but generally, yes, I think that is one of the best maps I've ever seen. It is super, super fun to fight on. Anyway, I think we're probably going to be okay here, but I'm going to try and charge into the enemy's archers anyway. I've got to be very careful about enemy spearmen, because they can stop me super, super fast. But if I can just get in here and do a lot of damage to their archers, that's all I really want to do. bear in mind, this is also not one of those fights where we can basically just throw our hands up and say, well, that's probably a victory. You know, we can't really do that this time because it is very much a case of we are the ones being outnumbered here, and we are the ones that are going to have to use a semblance of strategy to be able to survive. Now, obviously, that is maybe a bit of a tall order for me, because you know me, I generally tend to throw quite a bit of caution to the wind most of the time. But that is in the name of fun. But obviously sometimes fun is not equal to victory, you see? Because if I have fun, sometimes that doesn't actually result in a victory, you know what I mean? So I'm going to pull my cavalry back as a result of that, and we're going to have to allow the enemy to come to us a little bit more, and they're going to have to fight through our various Vlandian sharpshooters. Because of course those guys are absolutely monstrous at range, and we want to make sure that the enemy has to deal with as many of them as possible. You know, I kind of like our strategy right now, because even though it may not seem like I'm actually utilizing a strategy, basically my strategy is I'm kind of distracting them. I'm kind of distracting the enemy's cavalry to sort of chase after me a little bit, and while they're chasing me, the enemy's infantry and archers are charging straight on into our lines, and periodically I am telling our cavalry to charge in, charge back, and try to hold position. And so it's basically a case of rinse and repeat as far as you can. Try to maintain as much survival for your own units as possible, and obviously try to survive yourself. I mean, if I can survive here, this is going to increase our chances of victory tenfold. It really is. But if I die, then, well, then everything is going to, well, kind of go badly, because auto-delegate, yes, auto-delegate is going to take over. And that is as good as a death sentence, basically. That is as good as a death sentence, because no offense to the AI when it, commands itself, but generally, auto-delegation, while it can be very good in handling easier fights when you are outnumbered and the AI knows that it's outnumbered and it takes command, it is very, very strange what it decides to do. Sometimes it will be way too aggressive, and sometimes it will be way too cautious, and it will very rarely make the right decision, unfortunately. Sometimes it does, and then it's an amazing sight to see, don't get me wrong. Then it's an absolutely amazing sight to see, but unfortunately that is a bit of a rarity some of the time. Anyway, I'm actually going to have to call my cavalry back now. As I've said before, we basically want to do a bit of a rinse and repeat sort of strategy here. I'm also going to get off my mount because, as you can tell, it is just about to perish, and I really don't want to get it lamed, if at all possible. So what's this? Ah, desert horse. Okay, might be kind of good. And it's also, wow, okay, this is a bit of a slow horse, unfortunately, but okay, we're going to have to deal with it. Yeah, a little bit worried here. So that might be the reason why you're seeing me take some kind of weird angles when attempting to attack, because here's the thing: if I get shot by something head on, and I'm talking about thrown weapons here mostly, because generally the Aserai is known for their thrown weapons. Of course they also have master archers and everything, but many of their lower tier units can do so much damage just with their thrown weapons. They can do a lot of damage with that, and they also have the opportunity to utilize their cavalry, and their cavalry mostly wield spears of some kind. So if I get hit with one of those straight on, I'm basically dead instantly, and I really don't want to do that, obviously. So we're just going to have to be a little bit more careful here. And as a result, I'm making strange decisions, like, you know, taking these weird angles where I might not be able to actually get a hit on the opponent. I'm actually going to tell my infantry to finally charge in. It's been such a long time since they've been able to fight anything, but I'm going to tell them to charge in now, and hopefully my archers do not have any more ammunition, because they are otherwise just standing there not doing anything. I think they... do they? I actually don't know. I actually don't know whether they have anything. It seems like some of them do, some of them don't. I'm going to just tell them to charge in, and the ones with ammunition will just move forward, then shoot, move forward, then shoot. Because I know that some people think that whenever you institute a charge command to archers, that they're just automatically going to switch to their melee weapons and they're just going to blindly charge. That's actually not the case. Basically what they'll do is, if they are out of ammunition, obviously that's what they'll do, but what they actually do is they will continue to shoot their ranged weapon, but they will prioritize going forward. So they'll go forward, they'll shoot, they'll go forward, they'll shoot. That's basically what they'll do. So it won't just be a straight charge, and they won't switch to their melee weapon unless someone is in range of them, which is obviously what you want them to do. Because let's say that they're being harassed by a bunch of cavalry or something like that. It's going to be much more advantageous to tell your archers to be in a charge command than it is to let them hold position, because it might be that the cavalry is just able to avoid most of their projectiles due to moving so fast, and then they're slowly going to pick off your ranged units really, really easily. But you can see here, look at what they lost. The enemy lost everything. We lost 27 total. We actually only lost 6 to death, which is absolutely ludicrous, but it is only because we have so many high tier units. It is really that is basically it. That is the bottom line right there. We just have so many high tier units that it is probably impossible for these guys to do anything. Obviously, bear in mind, we're not actually fighting against an army that is at full strength, because I don't know whether you noticed, but they didn't have all of their vassals in the army itself. They were still forming the army, and they just didn't have enough time before they engaged us. And that was basically it. Gonna take all the loot, because we might need some extra cash. Maybe we'll need some extra cash. Where is Adram, by the way? I attempted to speak to him once again, and he always seems to be in an army. So I'm actually gonna see whether he's in an army again. If he's not, then I have a good thing for him. We might be able to make a good deal with him, potentially. Ah, there's the crash. Ah, so there's the crash. Okay, so it's this castle. This castle is causing the problem. Right, okay. I'm actually wondering if I can... Can I actually attempt to forcefully save the game? This might not work. Yes, let's try to save. Let's save it as possible crash, I guess. Game saved as possible crash. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Attempt to continue. I'm gonna say no. Okay, it didn't. Okay, it didn't continue. So I'm going to load it up again, and we'll see whether we can actually return to where we were. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go through that fight all by myself again. Alright, well, it looks as though my save did not actually work, but I think we had an autosave just after the fight. So that's actually fantastic. So I basically just loaded that up, and this is where we currently are. So unfortunately, it looks as though I will be unable to siege that castle for some reason. I don't exactly know why that would be the case, but okay. Anyway, I'm going to, instead of besieging it, I'm actually going to send a messenger to the guy that owns it, and maybe I'll be able to purchase it off him. Potentially, maybe, possibly. We'll see. Anyway, hello there, sir. Can I... No. Okay. Doesn't look like I will be able to do that. He's in an army, unfortunately. Obviously, me buying it off him would require him to want to leave his faction, because obviously we're at war against them, and barter straight up, you know, fair trade does not actually work in wartime. But I was attempting to potentially either persuade him to join us, or to buy the castle off him, and then give him something else, and so on and so on. But it seems like this castle is absolutely fine. This castle seems okay, so... this has actually been besieged now. Flotois has been besieged, which is obviously not great. But if I can take this castle really quickly, then I should be able to return to Flotois without any issues whatsoever. So what I'm going to try to do is I will literally go in immediately. Straight away in here, really, really fast. Try to be very, very quick about taking this. Let's do this. Okay, how fast do you think we can do this? Probably not that fast, right? I mean, where do I actually have to go? Oh, up here. There we go. Ah, that is hilarious. Literally controlling your character in such a fast speed is a challenge, to say the least. It very much is. Anyway, strong legs, save me now. Thank you very much. Okay, seems like that is probably it. Hello there. Oh, I actually caught up with the enemy. Can you believe that? What? Where are these? Are they actually disappearing right before me? Yeah, that is that is hilarious. I was literally trying to hit them, and they were just disappearing into the into the keep as I was doing that. That is absolutely so funny, so funny. Okay, let's send these guys in. I'm not going to go into the keep this time around. We did not sell our prisoners just yet. I'm gonna donate the 11,000. I don't really mind about that. Let's claim the fief. And let's put a bunch of money in there. Hopefully that's going to help them to construct some things. And we'll do improved garrison, just a small amount, not a massive amount, but we will do a little bit of it here. Which castle is this? This one? Yes, and let's get 160. I don't really care how many we can get in there, just a little bit, you know, just a small amount of people. And I'm going to try and do battle with these guys. I'm currently in a disorganized state at the moment, so it's highly unlikely I'm going to be able to catch up. But, wow, really? You're literally trying to take this with 105 units. You absolute scoundrel. You are an absolute scoundrel, sir. Can I... No. Okay. He wasn't in an army, so I was thinking to myself, maybe I'm going to be able to persuade him. No. No. Not in a million years. Apparently, they really do not want to join me for any reason or another, but, well, never mind. Okay, so the other castle is now under siege as well, but that's absolutely fine, because I should be able to go over there without too many difficulties, and then run those guys off a little bit. Hopefully more people in the garrison are going to be put in. There's only 44 there. No wonder that guy thought that he would be able to take it without too many difficulties. I mean, really, anyone would, to be honest. And this guy, there we go. Let's free that. I'm reading the... Yes, I'm reading those this time. Yes, indeed. Okay. Let's see what we can do. There we go. Take that guy down. Let him go. And we'll take the prisoners this time. And, wow, even less experience this time around. Yeah, I probably should have recruited some more units before coming over into Azerai territory, to be honest. That would probably be more efficient, to be fair. But, you know, sometimes things happen, and... yeah, generally, you may not think ahead of schedule too much, considering I've had 2 crashes in this one episode for some reason. All thanks to that castle, though. Kind of weird. Kind of weird that that castle's having some issues. Okay, the owner of Firth Castle. Apparently Firth Castle is now under siege. Okay, I don't know who to give this to. Probably to Fafan, actually, because he is the Sturgeon. I mean, Vashorki is also a Sturgeon, but he already has, like, I think 2 or something. He already has 2 fiefs, so it kind of makes sense to give it to someone else. Let's just try to take care of these guys. Nice little auto-resolve there for them. Take the rest of the prisoners, and 4,000's not worth it, in my opinion, so we're now going to go back to Flotois, and maybe we're going to be able to... we might be able to get there in time, but yeah, this is the really, really massive army. This was the main reason why I wanted to take that castle first, because they were unable to take Charas, as you can see. They were unable to take that, because obviously in the first part of this episode we saw that they were attempting to take that with an overwhelmingly strong force. And this is that force. This is exactly that force, and it must have taken them a very long time to get over here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave them to that. They're probably going to take it very, very quickly anyway. But this, yeah, there you go. They took it. That's how fast they can take it. Boom. Click at the fingers. Click at the fingers right there. Super, super fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to try and distract them as much as possible, because they have such a large army at the moment. There's no way I can fight them the way I am at the moment. But... being able to distract them in this way is giving my own forces opportunities to do other things in other places, and that is pretty much all I can really hope for. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait until we get the chance to go in. We're once again going to go in without building anything else. We're going to be really, really fast here. And we'll see if we can once again blitz this a little bit. So let's just move up here. And yeah, let me just get up this. There we go. Gotta turn off super speed to be able to do precise movements, that's for sure. And let's do strong legs once again. Strong legs, save me now. There we go. Let's get these guys dead. Thank you very much. Let's try and catch up to some of them, if we can. Seems like these guys are going to be escaping, but maybe I'm going to be able to catch up once they... Yes, once they go up the ladder. Actually, not the ladder. Once they go up the steps here. Okay, those guys are going to escape, but I am basically the gatekeeper now. None shall pass. None shall pass as they make their way up here. Yes, take that, sir. I'm going to try and kick them. Don't I have... I have strong legs, right? So that means that my kick is actually a lot stronger than normal, right? Yeah, I think so. So let me see if I can actually utilize that. Okay, oh yeah, that does not do as I anticipated. I really would love it to be like Dark Messiah of Might and Magic's kick. That would be super fun. Or maybe Bulletstorm's kick or something like that. Obviously, that they are, well, I mean, they're kind of action games. I mean, Bulletstorm is obviously a first-person shooter, and, well, Dark Messiah is kind of a RPG, action RPG, I guess you could call it. It's more of an action RPG, I guess. And Bannerlord is a bit more simulated combat, you know, kind of with RPG elements, I guess. But yeah, the point is, I would love to see a kick that actually kicks, you know what I mean? So not just something that is like, oh, you stunned me, you scoundrel, you stunned me for 2 seconds. And he just doesn't do anything from that, you know. He doesn't fall back, he doesn't lose his balance, he doesn't drop his weapon, you know, he doesn't do any of those things. But obviously that requires a lot of additional work in development, and that's probably not on their list. To be fair, that's probably not on their list at the moment, because let's face it, there's a lot to do, and that's such a minor thing, revamping the kick. I mean, really, come on. They're not really going to focus on doing something like that. Anyway, Berahor Castle. Let's see what we can do with you. Okay, let's get 167 for some reason. And then we'll just leave the rest. There we go. Okay, so this guy is going to attempt to siege, or this girl, shall we say. And as you can see, there's the army once again. So we are once again just going to hop on over to the next possible fief, which is indeed Askar. And you may think, well, what is the point in this? Well, bear in mind, this is consuming the cohesion and the food supplies of that extremely large army. This is giving my own forces an opportunity to fight back against other enemies that we may need to fight against, for example, the Northern Empire and various others, and we are keeping the Aserai busy without them encroaching on our territory. And let's face it, if this really large army was able to gain any kind of momentum, so if they were able to go into our territory and actually take something, like for example Charis, if they were able to take that and finish up the siege, bad things would happen. Oh yes, bad things would happen. So it would definitely be something that we would want to try and prevent. And me and my very limited wisdom decided that it would be a good idea to do it this way. And generally, this is a decent strategy. I feel like this is okay. You know, it's not bad. I mean, obviously the best strategy would be to literally eliminate the enemy's army, because of course that would make things much, much simpler. We would then be able to take out the take all of the fiefs that we've already taken and have no problems, because we would have no enemies attempting to take them back, and so on. But as it stands, we kind of need to make a little bit more of a desperate effort to kind of defend and attack our own lands. You know, we can't just allow them to take something and then not have a strategy to fight back. And unfortunately, that's just how it is. That's just how it is right now. So I'm gonna have to try and fight tooth and nail right here. Let's do this. I'm just super thankful that my polearm skill is so incredibly good, because without that we would be in dire straits, to be honest. I feel like we would have so many more problems. Oh, super speed mode is really just giving me huge amounts of issues right now. Okay, now I am in the barn. Quite literally, I am in the barn. Let's try and get out of there, because I'm a little bit trapped. Okay, this might be me overextending, me getting a bit too overconfident. Ooh, that was close. Okay, yeah, that Mamluk Palace Guard, he almost hit me with that massive axe. That would have been really, really harsh. I'm actually wanting to find where the central gate is, because if I can actually find where that is, then I might be able to open it up and allow our forces to come inside, because it seems to me like we're not able to do that at the moment, but I am actually able to eliminate a lot of enemies right now. I actually wonder how many kills do I have? I have no idea. I really don't. This can't be the main gate, right? No way. That's way too small. Seems like my forces are now coming in, and I believe that's actually it. Yes, indeed. We only have 100 more enemy units to eliminate, and then we should be absolutely fine. So I'm just going to send the rest of my forces right in there, super speed moded up, and we should be done. And that means that we've taken Askar, and that's actually fantastic. And I think what I might do, because this is a very interesting defensive layout, I'm actually thinking that I might stay here to defend against the overwhelming force. What do you think? Should I do that? Is that a mistake? It might be. It might be, very, very much. But I'm kind of wanting to sort of have a place to make a stand, you know what I mean? Because at the moment, we are consistently just running away, and I don't really like doing that at the best of times. But if we can kind of maximize that by making sure that we survive through a siege defense, then maybe it's going to be worth it, you know? Maybe it will be worth it. I really don't know, but we're going to go and do the improved garrison thing. Let's go into Askar. Oh yeah, I know that some people actually said to me that I should take the prisoners and put them in the garrison, because then they'll get automatically recruited by improved garrison. Now, here's the thing. The only reason why I'm not doing that at the moment is because these fiefs are highly likely to be taken by the enemy force, and I really don't want them to gain more units. That's the only thing. I really just don't want them to gain more units, and they are more than likely going to be able to do that if I leave the prisoners in there, because it's going to be a really, really tempting target for this enemy force. It really is. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the map, because I'd like to see what's actually going on here. Okay, so they've obviously taken Flotois back, but and they've also taken Berehal Castle back. So I would assume that they're going to be coming over here in just a second. I don't have a huge amount of units remaining. Let's actually just see whether they come over here. If they come over here, then I may have to leave if they still have over 2,400 combat strength. Ah, it seems like they're actually attempting to take that castle back instead. So, from my perspective, what that means is I should go over to the castle, and I should literally just auto-resolve against the castle, take that back almost instantaneously, and then do the same thing with Flotois and just continue to go around in a circle, basically. Because the more that we can do that, the more that their cohesion and their food supplies will decrease. That is pretty much the only way that I can really fight back against this kind of enemy, because they're just way too strong for me to fight in direct confrontation. But obviously building a siege camp takes me a very long time, and they're probably going to build their siege camp really, really fast. So this might be more risky. Way more risky. Okay, so let's Wow, we lost so many units just from doing that. Yeah, that's yeah, that's also a good example of what you don't want to do most of the time. You really don't want to do these kinds of auto resolves. It's really, really bad idea. I'm not actually going to claim this particular castle this time around because maybe someone else is going to be able to get it, and then they might actually be able to garrison it with some better forces than I can potentially. I'm going to go. They actually stopped the siege at the castle. That's fantastic. They stopped the siege at the castle, so I'm going to go back to Flotois, and I will attempt to take that. Okay, owner of Berahar Castle. Let's give that to Godoon, I guess. Give that to Godoon, because he only has one beforehand. We might as well give him this. And let's go back to this town over here. Obviously, Askar is going to get taken. It seems like Berahar Castle is also under siege at the same time, but again, this is really not that big a deal, and this is just setting everything up. It's setting everything up exactly how we want it. The enemy has 200 units here, but we should be able to take that back without too many difficulties. There are actually 2 vassals here as well, hilariously enough. Let's make peace with the Southern Empire. I'm perfectly happy with making peace with them. Do we have to pay anything? I don't think so. No. We don't have to pay anything against them. That's actually fantastic. Oh, we did. Did we? I'm actually not entirely sure. Oh well, I guess I'll see after one day whether we're actually paying them something, because apparently we are. Did not realize that, but okay. Okay, let's have a look. We are paying them nothing just yet. Okay, I'm kind of antsy. I'm kind of antsy about that, to be honest. Alright, here we go. Let's do this. Let's take back Flotois. This is not going to be too difficult, I don't believe. Because we were able to take Askar when they had around 600 units in the garrison there, so this should be quite a bit easier. But let's just say that if the enemy is completely clobbering us on the battlements, then obviously we're going to have some issues. Alright, I think we seem to be pretty much done. I felt like we did a pretty decent job on the battlements there because I was kind of distracting the enemy units. And I know, I say distracting like that's the pinnacle of strategy, but actually it does seem to make quite a big difference to our own units' survival rates. Don't you think? Because it kind of makes it so that the enemy is not completely blockading the battlements at the very top there and making it super difficult for our forces to get on and into the keep itself. So, kind of makes a little difference, but unfortunately we did end up losing a whole bunch of units in the process, unfortunately. So it seems like I will have to go back to Vlandian territory very soon, if not after this, literally, just to go and recover some more units, just recruit some more people, try and replenish our forces, and that's basically all that we can really do, because otherwise, if we don't do that, we are going to be in a terrible, terrible spot. But I can only hope that that other guy has now stopped his army. Maybe his army has, you know, ceased to be a thing. Oh, okay, so we're giving them 768% per day. I'm actually perfectly fine with that. I really don't have a problem with that at all. Sturgia, we could receive 170 tribute per day, but we have no support for that. I could force it through, of course. As you can see, the Aserai and us are very even in combat strength. So it's a bit touch and go at the moment. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.